I've created a new project by going in here and just creating. Let's create a new one now. Sorry. Okay. I'll just start a new project here, and let me call this as Precast Building Tutorial. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's a single user, and I'm using an educator license, so it just basically allows me to practice and learn things. So okay, it'll give you a prompt as to like this is on an educational license. So yeah, save this model. The thing is, if you're using that for commercial reasons, it's better not to do this. And there's this prompt for creating a Trimble Connect project or something like that. But we will
Okay.
just cancel it for the moment. We don't need that for. It won't be model sharing or anything. So by default, Tekla gives you this is the view it has. Like it has a 3D view, and there's these tabs. You can scroll to kind of go through those tabs, and you can click and you can hide as well or something. Like if you don't want to see any tabs, you can basically hide them off or something like that. But usually, there's no reason I've never had to hide any tabs. So can you mute yourself, Vaibhav, in case you?
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's some other things over here. This is something that's kind of new in 2022 now. I didn't see that in 2020. This is custom inquiry. We'll explore the features and the environment as we work along in the model. And these are some selection tools. This is for the selection of components. This is selection of objects. This is to select assemblies, and this is to select objects and assemblies. So there's a bunch of selection things that you have, and then these are the snapping tools, like the way we have those in AutoCAD or any other CAD softwares. So let's just start with the project, and have basically taken this building. So it's you can see it is 60 by like 16 and 28 and 60. So I think it's a 60 by 60 building, and the thing is it's having like a shop, like it's basically like a mall or something. So we'll try to practice and make this as a precast structure. Okay, so let's get started. The first thing is I need to do in any project is set the grids correctly. So generally the architect will usually give you a grid, but in case there's no grid given by the architect, so we'll have to do it ourselves. So what I usually do is I'll delete these grids. Okay, and if I select this now, and this is very important, direct modification. Okay, and this is the contextual toolbar that you have. So if you just select this now, so what you can do is okay, so you see this over here, you can basically just key in values over here, like you can basically type as to what distances you want or something like that. So I will go here now. If it allows me to do that, let me see. If it's been quite a while since I've worked with grids. So you can basically like do this pull and push things. So what I'm trying to do now is I will make that building. It was a 60 wide building, right? This selection tool. So this one is to select the entire grid system, and this is to select a particular grid line. So you can kind of select like this and move it as you want. So I can basically just delete all of these ones, and like then have this grid selected, and I can move it as I want. At the moment it is just adding another few grid lines automatically to it. So but I can there's some other functions as well, like that you can make it magnetic, you can demagnetize it, and then you can have some additional line below it, above it. Like if I make it 5,000, you see this beyond my workspace, it'll extend that grid line. So anyways, what I'll do is now I need a construction line which is in my computer, it comes through L. So I can just basically draw a line here. Okay, and now I can move that line by clicking this one, select any place, and then I will just give it a dimension of 60,000 meter so which is 60 meters. So I can expand, yeah. So it basically gives me the idea of as to, okay, this line is here. So what I can do is now then I can basically select this grid line. Snap it again, expand. Okay. So this distance that I have, you can press F to inquire the distance, or maybe any kind of dimension queries using F, which you also get it from this one here, this measure. So the first few things that are very useful is, what I'll say is, you go here and then you go to settings, and then you go here to keyboard shortcuts. Like I basically have a couple of shortcuts set already, like cascade, tile windows. Okay, tile windows vertically as Q, and then there's move linear. Sorry, I'll just get it as move. Yeah, move linear is set as M, and just move is set as N. And then there's a couple of other settings as well. I'll just let you know when I change those, as and when I change those. Okay, and at the moment, yeah, this is basically one side of the grid done. Let's do the same thing here now. I will just draw a line here. Okay, this is a construction line. I've set that construction line to be like at operate when I press L. Now I'll go down by minus 60,000. Okay, now I need to select my grid line again. Okay, now I just hit it and then move it. You see, it says end point or something like that, which is the right way of, like, with it kind of gives you prompts as to it is snapping at the end point or whatever side it's snapping. Let's get rid of these. Yeah, what I can do is, now if I want to just delete the grid, the construction line, I hit F2, so that this selection kind of gets activated. Or else I can just hit F2 again, so it deselects everything, and I can select this then, and it'll tell me one object and zero handle selected. So the one object that is selected is this construction line here. I can delete that off. This is basically it basically is the outline of my geometry now. So there's these 60 by 60. Now I need to put another grid at 16, and then another grid from 16 over here. That's what I'll do now. So the first thing is, we'll just set out the grades of the building and just do a basic functional framework or something like that of the building now. So you can just move it. Okay, now this is at 16 from this edge, and I don't want this one to, I don't want this one as well. Okay, and I need this one to be at 16 from the top as well. So I will just snap on that again, and as you can see, as I move it, it'll snap it. Okay, that's done. So I have grid lines A, B, C, D, and on the right side as well. Let's do this because okay, now this one, yeah. As you can see, it's 18, 24, and 18 again. So let's do this thing. So we'll just get rid of this. We'll just move this one so that it is at 18 from the edge right side. Get rid of this one. This one also goes. And I think this one is 18 now. it still says 200. I can anytime I can just drag and I can just type the value that I want it to there. So at the moment it is 400. Okay, 1800. This is 1800 again, and 24. So for some reason it's not adding up. Let's see if we have the dimensions correctly done. Okay. 1880, look at that, it's about 800 mm, which is by which it's off. Now the center should be this one should be 2400. Okay, perfect. So you see these dimensions now. I want to get rid of these ones, so I can just right click and click on redraw view and it will take care of that. I usually assign redraw view to button called R, so I'll do that right now. Let's just redraw. Okay, redraw, and I do it just for the current view. I don't want to want software to kind of like sometimes I have a lot of views open, so I don't want it to kind of just go through everything, and it becomes a bit laggy when it has a lot of things on it. So I will just click on current view and then I go here and click R and click assign. It is being used somewhere else, but I don't care where it is being used. Okay, so R means redraw view. So if I have any dimensions or something here, I hit R and that's gone now. The other thing I have done is I have a gaming mouse. So in Tekla you need to use the middle mouse button a lot, but I've used this. I've programmed this gaming mouse has 2 additional keys on the left side, so I basically have programmed the left button to kind of do the function of the middle click. I'll share that with you, the link as to how to do that and how much what stuff you need and all those things on a link. So this is basically like the set out of the building is done now. So let's look at the building again. It has a stair core here, it has another stair core here. So we'll also set out a few grid lines for these ones while we are at this point now. You can also, one of the ways to do that is you can also kind of go to okay, why is it not snapping? I don't know. Oh, sorry. Basically, just give it a dimension here. The thing is, this kind of works with in the form of like you can key this in as well. Like you could basically just draw some lines and then kind of like just have them done as a grid line. I don't know why I'm not getting that option, but yeah, you see this button, this is what I was looking for. Okay, we'll do that over here now. So you see this plus, when I hit this plus, it's very tiny in this version for some reason. Okay, it created a new grid line and we want this grid line to be at how much of a stair core is that? Is it 4 meter, right? So let's just keep it 4 meter from this side. Okay, So this is done, and we do the same thing on the right side. Click here, and it is a very tiny plus sign. Hit that. This is done, and I would assume that this entire 8 meter, it's like 28 minus 8, so it's 10 over here. So what I'll do is I will click here again, and I will look at which side that plus symbol is again. Okay, where's that symbol? Okay, if you look at that, it ideally it shows you the distance from that plus symbol. So you can just hit here. So I need that to be 10 mm. Sorry, 10 meters. So I will move this up a little. It's done, and I need another one again. Done, and I think that's pretty much it. Let's do a bit of a renaming of these grid lines. See this this cube that you see is a very useful thing. Like it's called the contextual toolbar, and it by default it kind of comes and goes when you press Ctrl K. Okay, it's not working. Sorry. You can activate or deactivate that from this button, contextual toolbar. So I have that that also programmed over here at contextual. So I keep it at K, which I had already done. So that's the reason it's no longer referring to K. Control K. So if I hit K, it'll come and go. So it's very handy. Sometimes it's a bit annoying when you have a lot of things on your model and it kind of constantly comes up. So yeah, I will make this as grid line 2 now, this as 3, this as 4, this one as 5, this as 6, and we have A, B, this should be C, right? C, D, F. So the basic thing of the project is done, and I'll just hit Control S to save it. So we basically have this project kind of in a phase now. So if I look at it now, I have the vertical element of it as well. Like what it says is over here, like it's like 5 by 3 meters and then like 4 by 2 meters, which I can directly input here. So before I do that, I'll show you how to create a section of this, I mean like a view. So you basically go here. So yeah, this is some reason. Okay, you go to here, you have a couple of options. You select view, basic view. You can just type in the ZX. If it is XY, then it will create the view at whatever the Z coordinate that you feed in over here. Likewise, you can change these coordinates over here. And then there's the 2 points, which is my personal favorite thing. I use it a lot when I have to kind of look at complicated areas or something. And then this 3 points as well, which has a very which I've found a very unique application for, and it's very useful as well. And then there's this work plane thing, and then there's this along grid lines. We'll soon use that along grid lines in a minute. Before in a few minutes now, but before that I'll just create the vertical. We'll set the vertical grid lines now. So before I do that, as I mentioned, I use this a lot, so it's worth putting that on the shortcuts as well. So let's just go here and keyboard shortcuts and 2 points. It should show, but yeah. Create model view using 2 points over here, and I have already set that to Alt V. So the moment I hit Alt and V, the cursor will change and it will ask me to select the first point. So I could go here, and then I can just basically give it a direction, and it'll create a view. As you can see now, I have these elevations set in my model in the grid system. So I can again modify these things now. Let's select this button, and this time I'm not gonna do any direct modification. It's a fairly straightforward thing now. I can put in a 0, then 3 by 5, and then 4 by 2. So I just go here, 0, 3 star 5000, and then 2 star 5000. Okay, it's looking for names now. So I gotta give it a few names. So I'll give it as, okay, level. I have these levels here. Then I'll just put this levels here now. 1. Let's do it as L0. Sorry, L0, L1, L2, L3, L4, L5, L6, and oof. Sorry, that's 3 by 500. Sorry, that's 5 by, that's 5 levels that are 3 meter high. It's not working the way I want it to work. Let's see what's the reason is. And then there's, sorry. Oh, you know what's wrong here. You need to add it in the form of increments. You can't put it like that. So you need to put it as 5000. Okay. Then the next one would be 10,000, and then the next one would be 15,000, and then the next one, yeah, the space bar kind of acts like a comma or something, and then we have 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, and then there's 2 stories of 4 meters high now. So 2900, and then 30. It's 4 meters, right? So it will be 3300. Yeah, that's it. So this basically is the grid line setup that we have. Let's make this big. So the reason why I added this cascaded is because I usually like this tiled windows. I can make any view big and I can just hit Q and it kind of tiles everything towards like if I have multiple views, it'll tile up everything accordingly. So now we looked at this function, which is very useful, this one, where you create views along grid line, and it has a particular property and all those things, and I'll just hit create, and look at that, it created basically the views at all the grid lines. I can basically just add them, and then there's plan at level 4 or plan at level 3, grid line B, grid line this and that, and all those things. And it has a restriction of 9 views only. I don't know why it is, but it's the way Tekla works. So I can hit Q, and then it'll basically put everything in and tile it vertically. So I'd say the basic I can hit. Yeah, the other thing is like I like to I don't go here every time, view list, so I will again assign another shortcut button, view list. So it's control I, and I don't care about that, so I'll clear this up. I will use V over here because that's much more handy. I don't care if it's conflicting with anything else. Okay, that's V done here. So I get a list of this, and I can basically then like select all of these and send them over here, so I only have the ones that I need. See, you would see a difference between the name over here. There's only one view visible here, but you see two. So this is what we call a temporary view. So you see this parenthesis around it. It means that view is a temporary view. So if I create any section or anything here now, if I create a section over this one, it will by default create it as a temporary view. Okay. For some reason, I think so the numbering, the grid number that we did didn't work out well, but I think we can just leave it for the moment. We can fix it later on as well. So let's look at the building again. As I can see, it has the ground and all those things. So what we'll do is we'll put 2 levels of twin walls. This won't be an actually structural detail, but we'll try to just cover all the precast elements that we can model using Tekla and get this thing working then. Like, so I just start with drawing walls around the perimeter of the building. So you go here, then you go to panel and then listed panel, and when you hit shift and enter, so it will bring up the section properties here. Typically I want to draw it as a twin wall, so I'll have 2 shells, so I'll call this as stage. So it has stage 1 and stage 2. So stage 1, and I'll give it a color. Suppose I give it as blue. 11. I'll keep it 11 as stage 1 and 12 as stage 2. And this shell is basically just about 65 thick. I'll take it as 65 skin. And my concrete grade is okay, it says undefined because I haven't installed any environment yet. So the environment is essential because it gives you the concrete grade and all those properties and all those things. Like at the moment, if I go to steel sections, I might not be having steel sections in this, but for the sake of just showing you how to draw a twin wall, I will just draw a twin wall here of about 7 meters. Let's make it a bit smaller, of about like let's do it as 5 meter long, and I hit the middle button so that it draws a wall. So you see it's currently aligned with the. Now my view is not working correctly, so what I need to do is there's another setting that you need to do. Go here and let's see if this works. Yeah, this is the setting that you need if in case your views are not functioning correctly. The object that I click select that I have my mouse on, and then I press the middle button, it will take it as the pivot point. Okay, so I have this wall here now, and it's basically aligned with the center now. So what I want to do is my building, I have the external dimensions, so I want this to align towards the outer side. But before I do that, I also have another second shell that needs to come in. So I can just hit C, and I can let's do one thing. Let's give it this point to be on this side. So instead of middle, I'll just make it as the left. That's another thing I'll tell you. At the start, and the handles in Tekla play an important role. You can select the handles by clicking the Alt button. So if you select if I want to select an handle, I'll hit the Alt button and then select that. You can see 0 object and 1 handle selected. So if I select like this and then I select like this, so it will say 0 object and 2 handles selected. If I have selected this object and I hit control and this and everything, so it will say that 1 object and 2 handles selected, because I pressed control alt and then I did the selection. So what I want is, like, you see this yellow color and then there's this magenta color. So this yellow means it is the start point, and this magenta means it's the end point. It shows it over here as well, like start and end. So if this is the start point and that's the end point, if I for some reason I just put it here like that, let's look for the purpose of like view. So if this is at the middle now, if I make it left, okay, see, it moved towards the left side. If I make it right, it moved towards the right side. So for the sake of just this exercise, and I want this to align with the grid line, so I'll keep it on this. And this is the shell one that's done. Now I need to add the second shell. There's ample of components that you could use, like suppose I use the wall. So yeah, there's this component that you could directly use to draw the walls. It basically has, you can add the shells as you want. Like I'll go to this one, this layer one. Cell thickness is about 65, and then I'll go here, and then I'll do this. I can there would be some videos that you could look at, but I'll basically show you how you can work your walls or something without a component. So I'll go here, and now I need to have the wall thickness is total thickness is 200 thick. So I will just select here, and I can click anywhere on this geometry, and I can, if I hit control, it's basically like that is a reference point now. When I give it directions and I hit 200, it'll take this 135 and I basically copy. So I have the two layers now. Let's make this a second shell. Double click on that and make it stage 2, and let's put it as 12. Modify. You see this two are done now. So what I need to do is I basically need to kind of like just make one of them as the main part, and the other one is the secondary part, or the component, or the part of an assembly. So I just right click here, and then I go to cast unit, and then I go to add to, and I go to this one. So now these two, when I select this button and select them, and these two act as one unit, and when I hit this and I select that, this will act like a single, individually I can select them, I can stretch them, I can do whatever I want to do with those. So what I'll do is, now I would basically end up kind of just hitting this button here now, and then I go here and then click, then I'll give it an election tolerance of 10 mm. And you see this one, it says Y, which I can turn off, so that I just want it to copy over the X coordinates. So this is how it copies it up, and I can then select these walls again, and I can give it about like 5 or 6. Okay, there's the six or something walls that I've done. So this twin walls, and I can just turn on the assembly. Okay, assembly selection mode. You see, the reason I told you this is a bit of an annoyance when sometimes you want to select something and this will pop up in the mid. So you want to just hit K and it will disappear then. So this button again, you can select this now. So this is a twin wall that's we've drawn over here, and you can then select these twin walls individually as you want to them to be selected. I just one of the important thing is to just lock the grids, because you don't want the grids to be changed ever. Okay, now I can select the grid, but I can't do anything with it, so it's kind of locked, so it's safe now. So let me just select and save this building now. So I think we can stop for today. I'll probably continue with we'll start and finish the ground floor layout. We'll add a couple of beams and all those things, so that we can continue with this later on. Alright, thanks. I hope you find it useful.